Now on to the finale of our webinar, Does Your Loyalty Initiatives Attract the Wrong Crowd? Part 6, bonus questions and wrap up. All right, we've got another question in here. Jim asks, what are some of the examples of companies that are using electronic offers in the retail space? You mentioned kind of the challenge with direct mail, and he was interested in understanding what kind of retailers are using electronic means today.
Thank you, Jim. That's a great question. CVS just announced last month that they're starting to do digital rewards. So whereas before you had to save your cash register receipts, if you were a CVS Extra Care customer, I believe that's the name of their program. Now they were just putting those points directly on the card. So CVS is a great example of a retailer that's removing the paper barrier and making it a lot easier for customers to shop them. There are some grocers, some regional grocers that I've worked with, that I'm familiar with, that are doing the same type of thing, where the rewards at the register. Piggly Wiggly is doing this with its Pig Points program, whereas you're earning fuel perks and fuel rewards for shopping at Piggly Wiggly grocery stores, where they're loading that right on the card. And then that customer, in the time it takes that customer to load his groceries into his trunk of his car and drive the couple blocks to the fuel station to fill up his car, those points are available on his card, and all he needs to do is swipe it right there at the pump, and he gets to redeem his Pig Points. So that's an example of a retailer that's really integrated. They're doing things in real time, and they're doing it digitally and electronically.
All right, we've got another question here. This is from David. You mentioned these different types of crowds and kind of putting them in buckets as you have in the presentation. What type of analysis do you do to break out these types of segments or crowds, and how many buckets would you recommend that someone have?
David, that is a very interesting question, because it's something that retailers grapple with a lot, right? There's a lot of cursory database analysis that's going on, and it is important to delve in a little bit deeper. So if we look at how we identify maybe those growth potential customers, looking at spend levels today, how do you tell the difference between somebody who's just a bad customer or somebody with growth potential? And it involves layering in maybe some additional external data. The propensity is to go towards demographics. Demographics are okay, but they don't really tell you a lot, because half the world is, 40 plus years old with a certain income and married and presence of children. That doesn't really give us a lot of information. But if we layer in attitudinal information and lifestyle information, we may understand where a customer is in their life stage. I've actually used that data before and saw incremental lifts in my marketing by 24%. We saw better response rates by leveraging attitudinal and lifestyle data to understand where a customer was in their mindset and in their life stage, and we saw huge lifts in response rates once we understood and were able to profile those customers. I would say you would want no more than 6 buckets of customers, otherwise it becomes unmanageable. But you can drill in and kind of create some subcategories of customers within those 4 to 6, I think, is optimal, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, but I would not exceed 6.
So Vicki, that was a great answer. I've just taken a look at our time here. I know we've kind of planned this so that it fits in with a 30-minute time frame for our listeners, and we've kind of hit that timeline. So I think it's time for us to transition, but great content. I think it was very valuable, and hopefully our audience felt so as well. Any parting comments or items you want to share before we end the webinar today?
Sure. If there are any other questions that anybody has, please feel free to contact me directly at vicki.james@loyaltyhound.com. Again, I encourage you to visit our blog and take a look at some of the other momisms and how they relate to customer loyalty. And again, appreciate your joining us this afternoon and look forward to speaking with you again on our next Lunch and Learn series.